Welcome one. Welcome all. And you know what time of the year it is, Kurt. It is the wonderful time for NFL football. And you know what? What is the total today, Kurt? What's the total on today's Hall of Fame game?
I came here to ask you, actually. That's why I'm here. I actually haven't looked at it.
I feel like
I want to guess. I'm assuming the Texans are favored, even on the road.
Yeah, you think Texas favored? What's the over-under? My guess is 32.
I was going to say 33.
33? Okay, I like it. Price is Right rules. If you go over, you lose. And it is 30.5. It's even lower than we both thought.
Okay.
So welcome to the Hall of Fame game. If you're gambling on this, welcome. And it's, yes, correct, Baseball Dad 88. It is greatness. NFL in any form is greatness, even in preseason. Yes, I have yearned for it. I've actually been watching nonstop highlights of old Sunday night football games from way back in the day, like when Randy Moss was still with the Patriots, or when Peyton Manning was slinging it with Joseph Adai in the backfield. Like there was, I've been yearning for this, and I'm going to a bachelor party tonight. I will not be here for the weekend, but I can't wait to put this game on. Have the boys around, and you just have football on in the background. And you know what? It's going to be meaningful to me because I'm going to have some lineups here, and we got a lot of news to sift through here. Kurt, did Miko Ryans? Did he even give us a little bit of news yet, or is it still up in the air?
He said he was waiting, but I feel like we have most of it, right?
Yeah, I think we have most of it. Yeah.
I guess if he's going to give us more, that'll be even better because he did say to Thursday. I doubt it's come out yet, so we might get even more news about more guys setting and who will play even more extensively, which would be awesome. But I feel like it kind of leaked.
I feel like it leaked too. I mean, obviously, if you're joining us, you don't have any idea. Look, the Bears aren't playing Caleb Williams. They're not playing any other starters. The Texans are very similar. D'Amico Ryans has been on record saying a lot of young guys are going to play. And, of course, we get our guy, Steve Boynton, in here, letting the facial hair flow. It is true. I didn't even notice the goatee is coming in quite strong, Kurt. Is that intentional? Are you going to try and grow out that goatee?
My beard just grows so puby. I was so sick of it. And I don't want to go to the barber because it's 15 minutes away, and it's just a hassle in downtown.
Yeah, 15 minutes away is just terrible. I mean, come on now.
And there are times where so I'm just like, you know what? Let me take matters in my own hands. And it looks bad. It's actually a terrible lineup, but nevertheless.
It should be fun tonight. Again, a lot of young guys being played for the Texans that we can expect. And if you're in for some football, we'll get ready for some Tyson Bagent, Tim Boyle, and Davis Mills football tonight. But really, we're going to do position by position here, Kurt. And I kind of want to get your overall view on how you're going to be approaching this slate. Because with preseason, there's always what's the word I'm looking for? Always a very chalky path, right? Especially in showdown. People are going to do two things, especially with only a kicker on each team, where people are going to play the kickers, people are going to play the defenses, and it used to be they probably play the quarterback who's going to play the most. Today, I don't really see if there's a quarterback viable for just an absolute half of football. I think maybe you'd be lucky to get a half of anyone outside of maybe a Tyson Bagent. I feel like he would play like a quarter and a half, and then he'd kind of rotate. But I think it's going to be the two kickers, the two defenses, and then maybe a running back plus a quarterback as the chalky build tonight. Is that something that you're thinking of maybe being a good idea, or are you trying to get off the board a little bit with that?
Are we talking about single entry or large field?
I would say anything. I mean, I would say most people are playing single entry. I think in the $10 tonight, I think that you can't win a solo shipper with that blend, right? You can't have all four special teams and defenses there with it. But in single entry, is that a viable path?
Yes, I think so. But I think in single, I want to have these lineups just in case, in single entry. But maybe you do a couple more single entries, and you kind of do both the defense and only one of the kickers, and then that way you can get three position players and do two of the chalk position players, and then maybe go a little bit off the wall with your last. Not too off the wall, but go Mills, Felton, and then that third one go a little bit weird. Like maybe you go Ellis Jones or a Amici or Cade Sover or some shit like that. You're muted. Oh, you're muted. Finally, it's not me.
That's a first time in a long time there. I got caught out there. But yes, I think exactly the issue that you brought up. You can play one low-owned player and get completely different. All you do is need is one guy. And I think last year that we emphasized that, where, even on main slate and stuff, Bruce 150K does our projections here. projections are already uploaded in the Saber. We got a whole sheet down where basically shows the player pools and thoughts on each player, just a quick one-liner. So if you don't know any of these players, well, for Brett Ripien, here's what the notes of Big T put. 3-way timeshare, but sucks. And then I assume that's going to be a fade for Big T, but I'll have that next to it. This is very interesting to me because you had Cade Stover listed as a guy you really liked, and that's tight ends in preseason are never played.
No, it's very bad.
We had the issue, not the issue, the situation last year where I think the Saints were a showdown slate, and the tight end went absolutely bonkers. And it had a unique winner. You can easily move up the board. And this is something similar tonight where, like, could it be Cade Stover? Could it be one of these wide receivers where, ownership is going to be incredibly dispersed? I mean, outside of Xavier Hutchinson, like, no one really projects well for us, or maybe Velus Jones does project well here too. But yeah, you can get a very unique in those skilled positions, especially at wide receiver and tight end, where there's not a whole lot of ownership. But I'll digress real quick. Rubio, since you do all the motorsport stuff, have you jumped into any USAC betting yet? I have not. The one thing that I have done over the last few weeks has been tailing a lot of Olympic picks from Kurt. We had a great day yesterday. It was a lot of fun with the USA Showdown stuff, and you've been absolutely crushing the Olympics, and I hope that you continue this form into the preseason here. Last night, or yesterday, I should say, was Serbia playing. It created a great sweat, and I have to thank you for that. It was very nice.
An awesome summer. Awesome summer of niche sports.
Oh, very much so. The niche sports are absolutely wonderful as always, and obviously preseason falls right into that category. Kurt, do you think it's a good idea? Should I share my screen with the projections on? I think I should. So that way people can kind of get a sense of maybe who projects well, who doesn't project well. And again, projections, especially in preseason, are not everything. So, like, if you see a guy, man, I feel like he's too high. You know what? Your feeling might be right. You can absolutely kind of just use this as a base, right? If you're not, very much into projections or anything like that, or you don't really want to use them, you don't have to. It's preseason. We all have our own takes and stuff. This gets me a good sense of what I really want to do. Like, who should be popping? Who should I have my eye on? Bruce seems to really like Tyson Bagent and Davis Mills, the two starting quarterbacks, which very fine. You also have Tim Boyle, Austin Reed, Brett Ripien, and Case Keenum. So, Kurt, among these 6 quarterbacks, I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Can you captain any of them? And who is your favorite?
I actually don't want to captain any of them, to be honest. I mean, if Bagent can scramble a little bit, shout out Bagent. He's from West Virginia. Anyway, I just don't I think you captain the receiver. You think in large field stuff, we have seen the receiver. Captain the receiver you think could get the connection there. I kind of like Velus Jones. It's really just Velus for Chicago, but there is Colin Johnson. And then for the Texans, I like Michi and Hutchinson to do Mills, and just hope that that's the connection, because if they are, I would just try to guess. I just don't think the captain quarterback is just meh. I'd rather get the higher upside in the receiver that gets the touchdown from him.
And Bagent's your favorite then among these 6.
So I think maybe he comes out and says we don't need to see Keenum in the Hall of Fame game, and we get a half of Boyle and Mills. So actually, I'm leaning Mills, honestly.
Really, Mills? I'm kind of surprised by that.
I mean, that's tips that if they come out and say no, Case is going to play a quarter, then I think I'll just take Bagent. But I just don't know. I just have a feeling do we really need to see Keenum? Maybe that's the news we get later.
Yeah, I think you're right. And now that I'm looking at it here, so you have Case Keenum. His passing prop was posted earlier on Underdog and Prize Picks or whatever. He did get prompts, but this could be a rest spot for Case Keenum, right? Hey, we know exactly what you offer. We want to see what the young guys offer. I mean, Tim Boyle's even on the edge of that line to where Texans probably have a path to where it's 50-50 work, right? 50% work in the first half, 50% work in the second half. While the Bears, it might be Tyson Bagent, would be lucky to play a whole half. And then you can really expect Austin Reed or Brett Ripien to kind of come in a 3-way share. And that feels like the Bears would do that 100%. It's not 100%. That's the wrong word. You can never be 100% about anything in preseason. But
you kind of showcase Davis Mills here a little bit, since you have 2 guys that are back. I mean, do you showcase maybe give him 2.5 quarters? I mean, I'm sure it'd be good on both sides. I mean, you have Cam as the backup. You give Davis Mills a chance to maybe somewhere in the midseason, someone loses a quarterback, trade for Davis Mills. He had an awesome preseason. Do you think that's a possibility here?
I actually don't hate that idea, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that Davis Mills had a little bit of promise, right?
I thought so. Decent.
Yeah, and I was seeing like, oh man, what if they showcase him? Maybe they can trade him if someone gets hurt or anything like that. Like, I could see that path being much more viable than any of these guys. Like, if you said there's a chance that if Davis Mills came out and said he's definitely playing a half, maybe more, he'd be the clear guy. And right now we can only have these theories, right? We can only go off to maybe what we think is going to happen. And if we get no news, I think that might be the path to do, especially in tournaments where you just kind of lean toward Mills, maybe pair him up with a wide receiver. And like you said, I don't think you captain any of these guys. None of these guys have the ability to crush you on the ground. Bajent, didn't he have like a really good first performance with the Bears where he just ran for a lot, but he's not really a runner at all. These are quarterbacks too. They're not trying to showcase their legs. I mean, they're trying to showcase their arms. They're trying to run an offense where everyone gets touches. I mean, if you watching Hard Knocks and stuff, that's another thing I did, Kurt. I watched Hard Knocks from 2009 with the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, these plays are scripted. Like, oh, I want to see guys block, or I want to see these guys routes. Like, you're not going to see just a ton of free form, like, quarterback scrambling. And that's why I'm not really going to be on these guys at captain. But if I did play Davis Mills, especially in large field tournaments, I would pair him with a wide receiver or tight end to potentially kind of try and hit that nut combo and maybe I catch the touchdown. And I stressed because that's large field, right? You can run Davis Mills and only Davis Mills from the Texans, like in your single entry. But in large field, if you really want to take home the 50K to first, you have to have the pass catcher that catches that touchdown. And that goes into the same case of if you did play Tim Boyle, who you think might get the second half, well, play a guy who's probably going to play in the second half with him, right? And I know that's not rocket science. I know it's kind of common sense, but that is just food for thought in that sense of if you're trying to take down 50K, make sure that stuff is correlated. And you don't have to captain any of these quarterbacks as well. Anything else before we move on to the running back position here, Kurt?
No, I want to get more clarity on Bajent's time. Like, what if he Mills, they come out and say Mills plays a half. I think it's possible they come out and say Mills plays a half or more and Bajent plays a quarter and a half. I think that's very possible.
Yeah, and I also wanted to mention, I just now put 2 and 2 together after I saw Bruce put a note. Austin Reed is from Western Kentucky when they had that air raid.
Oh, yeah.
I completely forgot about that. Austin Reed's a baller. Like, he's a good quarterback. I genuinely, if I heard a half of Austin Reed too over Brett Ripien, I'm definitely clicking Austin Reed with his weapons there in that second half.
That makes me like Texans defense even more over the Bears because he'll be slinging the thing.
Oh, he should be slinging it. And this is another
picks, that kind of shit.
I don't want to just come on and be like, oh, here's what you got to do to win, because you can skin a cat a million ways, especially in preseason. But if you're playing like Austin Reed, well, wouldn't it make sense to, pair him with his pass catchers, of course, or maybe, you're trying to chase that second half, right? Like the Tex or the Bears are chasing the game. They're probably losing at that point. Maybe you could fade the Bears defense in that sense. Maybe play the Texans defense. Maybe they had a pick six for, you could play 2 pass catchers in that sense because maybe the Bears were chasing the game. And that's that giga brain, like,
I absolutely don't like trying to pair Austin with the pass catcher because I think it'll be so murky of who's in when he's in. I would rather try to pair if I'm pairing, which you don't need to do in preseason, but it's really only going to be the starters. I'm not trying to play that game with anyone but the 2 starting receivers with the starting quarterback. That's the only game I'm trying to play as far as pairing goes.
You ready to play my favorite game, Kurt, preseason?
What's that?
It's where did he go to college?
Oh God!
All right, we're gonna start off, and I know this one. I think you might know this one. Jamar Jordan. Where did he go to college?
Louisville.
Yeah, easy. Last year, he went to college there last year, right? All right, let's do I'm gonna not even a curveball here. I'm just gonna completely throw another softball. Roschon Johnson,
Texas.
Look at that. This guy.
Herbert, Kansas, Felton, UCLA, I believe.
Yeah, I only said the ones I knew.
And then I actually don't know British Brooks.
Dude, when I saw that name, I was kind of geeking. I was like, what is the name British Brooks? I mean, that's an alpha name right
North
there.
Dakota State or something.
Wait,
Cam Akers. Huh? No, wait, really?
Nah, no, I played him in DFS. Jesus.
Did he go by a different first name?
I don't think so.
British Brooks. I do not remember British Brooks.
He graduated in 2023. So yeah. Anyway, we can stop playing the where do you get a college game until we get to the wide receivers here, because I do have some fun wide receiver ones. But look at this, right? We got a wide running back room. Apparently, this could be the Jawar Jordan showcase. You know, he's been impressing in camp a lot. And what you see when you get down to the goal line, what do? They want to see these running backs pounded in. Usually, if they're showcasing a fullback too, you might have a guy like, the fullback's battling where they just run up in a full I formation and just try and bash it through the gaps. Jawar Jordan could absolutely fill that void. Damian Pierce could get playing time. British Brooks. The thing is with the Texans, just out of all honesty, you don't really know. Look, there's 6 guys who can run the ball for the Texans here. That's a lot. But for the Bears, it's a lot less. Demetric Felton, very electric out of the backfield, can catch the ball, a veteran. Then you also have Roschon Johnson, who I think he's going to ball out this year, not only in the preseason, but also in the regular season. And I'm kind of on the fence about Herbert. If you were talking about a showcase, I think Herbert's on the chopping block to where he can't pass block worth the lick. I mean, he can run the ball. He's very good at running the ball. But he is not going to be the RB2 on this team because he can't pass block. So they might try and showcase him. Look what he can do on the ground. He can really run the ball well. But really, like, is it just these Bears options over these Texans because of the amount of mouths they have to feed?
Yeah, I think we need to get clarity on the. I really hope we don't get someone like, who are the 2 guys? Homer and Wheeler. Like, I really hope we don't get something crazy on them. And I'm not like, I know Blossom Game's listed as a fullback on the roster. I think it's very live for him to get like 8 carries in the final minute, or it's like 3 or 4 minutes of the game. Like, we've seen guys listed as fullbacks do that in the preseason all the time. It tilts our face off. So, I mean, if you're trying to pick like one of the last running backs, and we have Wheeler and Homer active, it's a murky situation. I know they are going to see Felton. He's a preseason hero, but I don't know. It's really just Felton and Johnson as far as the first guys go. I really like those 2, but I don't want to get messy if Wheeler and them are active and feel like I need to play one of them or get exposed, or even get exposure at any amount.
And I would say that in this Bears backfield, there is a clear battle. I don't want to completely dismiss Herbert. I don't think he, sticks with the team here, but it is a battle between the RB2 spot on the depth chart. It is Roschon Johnson or Khalil Herbert. There could be a showcase of this first half where, each guy gets a quarter or something like that, right? If there was a path to that, right? And I think those 2 would be more viable than the Texans. Jawar Jordan, he was very good at Louisville. Then he got hurt, and he was actually outplayed by his teammate Isaac Arenda, who's now with the 49ers. It's just 6 backs. I don't want to play the lottery, especially in single entry. I'd almost stay away from these Texans because, yes, if they got the touchdown, I would be worried in that sense. But good luck guessing who's going to get these touches. Like, even J.J. Taylor is pretty good. If I can see a guy DNPing here, I think it's Cam Akers. Maybe he's not healthy enough off that injury to play an actual game. I don't really know. Dare Ogunbowale.
I think they could set both those guys.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have him on special teams. So I want to get more clarity. Hopefully D'Amico gives us that. But Cam Akers sets, Dar sets, and we have Brooks, Taylor, Pierce, Jordan, and who else? Beck's a fullback. That's 4, right? If those 2 were
already said 4.
Yeah, so I think that would make Jordan and Pierce go right back up to single entry viable for me if those 2 are ruled out. If one ruled out, dabble some more in large field. But if they announce everyone plays, like Akers gonna get some snaps, Dar's even gonna get some snaps, I'm a little concerned.
So I have a question for you. Who is that really good player on the Bills for preseason, that running back? Scampered out. He'd always get like 4 or 5 catches at the end of every game, it felt like. And he was electric with the ball. Got cut and then went to the Panthers. I'm trying to get that name because I'm trying to make a comparison here because, oh, man, this is going to kill me. Electric out of the backfield, had great hands.
What the Panthers last preseason?
He joined the Panthers after getting cut by the Bills. But I think he did end up on the Panthers. Anyway, Dare Ogunbowale, if he did, stick with special teams, there's a chance he doesn't even play at that position, at the running back spot. He could be a guy who just profiles where, like, all of a sudden they're chasing the game at the end of the time. They're trying to run a 2-minute drill, and all of a sudden he gets 4 catches. Like that would probably be the way that someone like him hits, right? It's not through anything other than banking with the 2-minute drill. And for some of these running backs, that can be a lot. And if it's not him, you know who it is? It's JJ Taylor. JJ Taylor, right? Like I would be very happy with JJ Taylor, maybe not needing a touchdown in that sense, but needing a 2-minute drill to kind of get there. And nothing's not viable in preseason. But that's like more viable than most, I think, is trying to bank a 2-minute drill with your running back to where like all of a sudden he gets 3 dump offs. And again, these quarterbacks, not like they're amazing or anything like that, they will check it down pretty quick. These defenses are a bit vanilla sometimes too. Like the check down is going to be open. I think JJ Taylor, as soft as his projection is, Kurt, I think that I would probably have quite a bit of him. I don't think I'd play him in a single entry though. Like I wouldn't play any of these Texans in a single entry. But the Bears, Roschon Johnson, I think he'd be my first guy, and then Felton would be my second. I'm gonna probably toss a coin up in the air and see who I should play at the running back spot for the Bears.
Wow, so you got actually, I kind of like that.
I like Roschon a lot, and I think that
I do too. He runs so hard, bro.
He had the concussions last year. He didn't really get as many reps as he really wanted it to, in a sense. And Roschon, I think he's going to be the guy in the first half, and I think he's going to be the guy in short yardage situation and passing downs. It's kind of what the profile is for him.
I like playing both together. I love playing both together, actually.
Ooh, really?
We talked about past optimals. Go look the past 3 years. There's been at least 2. No, I'm going to say it. Let me say it. Let the boy watch. The past 3 years, we've had 2+ running backs be in the optimal. 2 of those 3, I'm pretty sure, is 3+, and 1 year is 4+ running backs. So I think playing those 2 guys together, getting a lot of the first half snaps for Chicago. Well, for Felton, I think you're getting a lot of the second and third. And then, I mean, with Roschon, you're getting all the first. So I really like playing them both together.
Yeah, so I think it's a very good exercise here. Real quick, ready? So obviously past Hall of Fame games, everyone's different. They might have multiple kickers. They might have 2 kickers on each side. This is different. They only have 1 kicker on each side this week, But over the past 6 years, and this is posted by a good guy, King Chief, who has always helped out a ton in the Discord. That dude would always post starting lineups for Summer League. He posted the Twitter snipe, the USA starting lineup yesterday, where he gave us the hint that AD and Tatum were going to start. That was absolutely awesome. But he posted in the past optimals. Yeah, the past optimals: captain, quarterback, running back, kicker, defense. Okay, so 3 running backs there. 2022, 4 running backs. One of those is a captain, kicker, quarterback. 2021, defense, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers. What the hell happened there? There was 3 wide receivers in the optimal without a quarterback. That is shocking to me, Kurt.
That's probably when they did quarterback each quarter.
That would make a lot of sense, and there could be a path to the same thing here. And then 2020, COVID was optimal. So let's go ahead and
if I say the quarterback captain, I'm pretty sure that was a guy like a semi-scrambler who played like 2.5 quarters of. I'm pretty sure I can't remember his name, but I'm pretty sure it was a scrambler.
No, I'm 100% with you. I'm trying to remember that name too. I'm completely blanking on it. But that was last year's Hall of Fame game, 2023 Hall of Fame game. But I'm going to give you a chance to think about it because I'm pulling it up right now. Ready?
All Can you tell me the team? I don't know who it is.
I will give you the team. All right. Oh, this is easy. It's easy. It's Browns and it is the Texans. Oh no, Browns and who? Well, Jets. Browns, Jets. Who is it?
I wanted it to be freaking the Jets guy with the white dude that runs around, but it wasn't him. It was the Browns guy who played like 3 quarters. I can't remember his name.
It had to be DTR. No, it was Kellen Mond. No, it was DTR. It was DTR.
Yeah, he played a shit.
Dorian Thompson Ron.
Streveler. I wanted it to be Streveler for the Jets.
Oh, dude.
Love Streveler.
Optimal in a regular season game on FanDuel that 1 year.
So yeah, so I guess that's something to mention.
Zach Wilson got benched in the 4th quarter.
Oh yeah, the past optimal is not really having like they're definitely not having both the defense, and I'm pretty sure only 1 defense in the past 3. Is that correct? But there's a kicker in 2 of the 3, which is kind of crazy. I don't know, man. I want a defense. I guess it does show you that when these teams only have 1 kicker, to definitely have a kicker in it.
Yeah. I think it's also worth noting too that that's the optimal. That's the highest
score. Yeah. Not the winning lineup, but just
you know what's going to happen. is, DTR and Mond was tall. I was looking at the stats where I think you could have definitely have been Mond and DTR in the winner. The fact that Mond wasn't in the winner with 92 passing yards and a touchdown was actually kind of surprising. The thing with defenses, they're going to accrue points the entire game, or, with a total so low, they're going to start with a good base of points, any sacks, points, anything like that. It's just gravy. So I'm interested to see how many were in the winner, or if the people even think the optimal, because I highly doubt that anyone in 2021 played the optimal.
Yeah.
Like, you had 3 wide receivers there in a 16-3 game.
What I take from it the most is if you're trying to get like big upside, you're not going to find the optimal. So I wouldn't try to do the no defense, but maybe you try to do 1 defense, 1 kicker and get as close to the optimal as possible, because you're not going to nail this. You're not going to nail the position player. So maybe that's the way to go. 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, defense, kicker.
I think this is actually a really good thought. Is if I'm playing a large field tournament, what's the maximum amount of kickers and defense that I should have in my lineup? If you're playing more conservative, I would say the answer is 3, because these are solo kickers. I feel like in the past we've had kicking battles. And if you
I'm pretty sure the one you said optimal, I'm pretty sure one of the optimal kickers, there were 2 kickers and one just went nuclear.
Correct. I do remember that.
That was so tilting.
And that's the thing too, where I think I'm going to do 3, because these kickers are solo. Like, if they both hit a 40-yarder, you'd be like, oh man, they have a really good chance to be in the winner. But I don't think I would do all 4, because I think all 4, each of those guys are going to have 40+% ownership. I think the defenses should have 60%, and I think the kickers are going to have around 40 to 50. You're already getting up there in ownership when you play 3. You're probably going to be approaching like 140%. Then again, it is preseason. It's really easy to find one differentiator to kind of do that. So I think if I'm doing 3, though, Kurt, I would want a wide receiver, who we'll talk about here in a little bit, to try and mix it up, right? I don't want to completely eat the chalk and expect to play, 5 guys for 50% owned, and another guy's 25% owned, and be like, look, I expect to win 50K. No. But with wide receivers, I do think that potentially there's a path there where, all of a sudden I get like a 5% owned guy, and that 5% owned guy could be a guy like Colin Johnson. So where did he go to college, Kurt? Colin Johnson.
Texas.
Now look at this. I cannot fool you. I cannot fool you today.
Come on, man.
I was sitting on that one. That's actually what originally gave me the idea. They're just kind of throw the.
Oh, okay, I got one for you. Where did Xavier Hutchinson go?
Florida.
No, Iowa State. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I was so wrong there. Wait. Hold on. I have an excuse for that one. You ready?
Freddie Swain went to Florida.
Oh, Xavier Henderson, who now plays for UC. Never mind. I got my Xavier.
Cephas went to Wisconsin. Sims went to. Oh, gosh, on the tip of my tongue, but I forgot it. Okay, sorry. Distracted again.
All right, yeah, you ruined it. You're perfect record. It's done. You didn't get that one. You threw yourself under the bus there. The Stadium Pulse is rocking now. It's ranked 4. But let's go into these wide receivers here. We got a lot to get through. And the reason why wide receivers are lower owned, well, look how many of them there are. There's a lot here. It is very tough to gauge which wide receivers will actually see targets and stuff, but we do try. And what's this comment here? Do you think teams will go for it on 4th to save their kicker's leg if they already made a field goal? No, I think they're going to play this. I think they're going to be even less aggressive than they usually are. Right, Kurt?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to, because you got to think about it. You're not just out there working the kicker. You're working your field goal block. You're working your field goal protection. Like, those guys need reps. Like, special teams is very important. So they will actually trot those guys out there as much as possible, because you can do a lot of like 4th and 1 stuff or 4th and short throughout the game, but getting real live simulation on a field goal block, field goal protection is huge. Now, so I don't think so whatsoever.
You're exactly right about that, and it's really good to know. And I always love watching Hard Knocks and stuff. Not that it's like, oh, look at me, I watch Hard Knocks and stuff, but like, even when the Bengals had a kicker who got hurt before the game, Shane Graham got hurt, they even sent out Chad Johnson to kick an extra point. Like, right? Like, and it wasn't as funny as it was Chad Johnson kicking an extra point. It was also the fact, like, well, we need to see what these guys, like, we need to at least go through a rep of live game of kicking an extra point or kicking a field goal and making sure all the personnel's out there. Like, you're exactly right. I mean, preseason especially is even more emphasized on special teams in that sense. If it's 4th and 1, I would almost expect them to kick the field goal even more than in a regular season.
I got a real quick question for you before we dive more deep into wide receivers. Playing 2 defenses or playing 2 kickers today? What would you rather have? 2 kickers? 2 defenses, right? 2 kickers or 1 defense, or 2 defenses, 1 kicker?
2 kickers, 1 defense. And the reason for that
Yes.
and this is, I think, even in my single, the defenses are going to be higher than the kickers. I think that's just something that's absolutely going to be happening. I want to script this game a little bit, at least in my main team. I want to script it to where I have a chance to get first. And if I'm playing like 2 defense, 2 kickers, I'm hoping for the same script as anyone else. But if I'm playing the Texans defense, for an example, well, I might play a Bears wide receiver on the other end, and hopefully maybe the Bears are chasing the game. Maybe the Texans had a pick 6. Maybe there's more passing in the fourth quarter from the Bears in that sense. I want to script it at least a little bit. And I don't think I'm going to be playing both defenses in my main lineup at all, but I do see myself maybe playing both kickers, and it can be done with one kick of the leg. Hell, 150-yarder is optimal almost. So if you offer me, like I said, if you offer me 7 points from the kickers, I'm biting your hand off at that point. I'd be like, all right, you got it. 7 points each. Yes, that's going to be in the winner. So I think that's my path. What do you think, though? Are you more 2 defenses or more 2 kickers as well?
I'm definitely 2 kickers, especially looking at the pass optimals. I think having 2 kickers is a really good floor. There's no splits. Like, I mean, extra point, like, guys, 1 point, even that 1 point, like, is big. Like, God forbid if they get a field goal, they're both set at 1.5 over. They get a field goal an extra point, both of them. That's like, those 4 points are massive.
Yeah.
And if they avoid zeros, that's also massive.
Yes. And think about that. 1 point from a kicker outscores probably 60% of the wide receivers minimum.
It could, like,
4 points outscores 95% of them.
It could outscore the most popular receiver play easily.
Yes, easily. And
it could outscore the second most popular running back play to like 8 carries for like 9 yards. Like, that's possible here, guys. The offensive line sucks ass. Offensive line is declining because no one wants to play offensive line anymore. It's sad. But okay, let's get into receivers.
All right, so this one's a fun one because Velus Jones is not exactly a pure wide receiver, right? I see on the notes here on our site. Running back work, question mark. Is Velus Jones a candidate in that backfield to maybe get some touches in the backfield where, like, hey, what if you got 5 touches running the ball and maybe a couple catches? Is he an exception to the wide receiver rule in that sense of, like, I usually want to fade the highest owned wide receivers, but if you're telling me that he's going to get work in the backfield, like, that completely changes his dynamic, right, Kurt?
I mean, yeah, so that's one of the things where I was going through the beats for the Bears. That's one thing I saw. So I didn't find a clip of it though. I kind of wanted to see what formation they were doing though, just to kind of confirm it, I guess. But I think if those 2 guys are out if Homer was banged up last year, God, that guy can't stay healthy for shit. If those guys are both banged up, I think we do see a couple snaps go to Velus, maybe on some third down stuff. Throw him in there. You don't want to have who is it? You don't want to have Felton playing like a massive amount, and then you probably want to save Boston Bain and run him up the middle 30 times in the fourth quarter in the last 5 minutes. So I think we definitely could see that here if those 2 guys sit. If they don't, still have interest as far as maybe he does get a snap or 2 in the backfield. But I think we could see 5 if those other guys are ruled out.
Sounds like Velus is going to even start.
Yeah.
Like where he's just going to get maybe a lot of touches early on. And if you really want, can I put on my tinfoil hat?
Do it.
All right. Velus Jones with Bears defense captain. You know why? Because Velus Jones is electric returning the ball.
No, you stole my.
There we go.
You stole my entire flow.
I stole your flow right there.
I
Bears
love
defense captain with Velus Jones returning the kick to open the game.
A lot of things you see when you Twitter search Velus Jones is how this guy is like jerking off to the new kickoff return. He's just stroking it. He's like so excited. That's all. The first 8 tweets is like his commenting on, he can't wait to do the new returns. He thinks it's going to be like a lot of touchdowns are going to happen. So I was ready to do that comment at the end of the show. You stole it from me. It never works out. It's literally never worked out in the history of mankind. But you know what? It only needs to happen one time, baby.
It definitely has not worked out once that I have seen, but it is funny as well. Literally the first comment I looked when I saw Velus Jones with the Devin Hester comparison.
Let's talk about that. Like, we finally get to see the debut of the new kickoff rule. I think that's going to be super. That's a reason to watch eyes glued to the TV first kickoff, which is new.
Yeah. 100%. I think that's going to be interesting. I think we're going to get a taste of it too. Like, what if he did just break one to start the game?
And what if people are not like? I know they've been practicing it, but like as far as live reps, this is the first guys these guys have done this. So like, I think it increases the likelihood that the defenses aren't ready, like the special teams aren't ready, and we get a defensive touchdown from it, like a miscue, something like that. It's the first time these guys are doing this live on someone that's not their teammates that they don't care to like really do it.
From 1% to 2%, right?
Yeah, I think so. which is big.
It is big. It is big. I'm not going to argue against that.
I mean, do we want to look up the returner for the Texans? Do we want to? I don't know. Who knows?
You know what? Let's get through these wide receivers real quick. So on the Texans side of the ball, we also got Xavier Hutchinson, who, yes, Iowa State, it was a PPR machine in college, was absolutely targeted a ton. Actually, I think I played him in the playoff slate, as stupid as it is to open it. And I think I played him in the opening playoff slate because they were so thin at wide receiver, and he did absolutely nothing. You also have John Mechie, the third. Jaden Jank. I haven't heard of this dude. I'll be completely honest, Kurt. I've heard of Cephas. I've heard of Sin. I have not heard of Jaden Janky. And I'm kind of ashamed because I obviously Mechie, Hutchinson, and them. Obviously, all the Bears guys even, but I've not heard of him. Can you give me a breakdown on this Texans wide receiver room and who you may be looking at?
Well, I also had the Twitter search Janky's name, but apparently they've been loving what they've seen. He's big and he's fast. Okay, so big and he's fast. He's playing against backup corner, like probably third string cornerbacks. So any play that they can buy some time, he's big and fast. So I like that. I actually really like these Texans receiver room. Obviously, like Hutchinson and Mechie starting out with Mills. I want to pair those. Janky, as far as the mop-up guy, but I'm not going to try to pair him with anyone. I'm just going to probably play him solo and assume that the starting guys in the first half just got really held out, or is like a Pierce touchdown, something like that. And then Janky comes in for cleanup crew in the second half and does well. And then that's it. I just really those three guys. I'm not playing the game with, and like one of the other guys, the Houston receivers could like get 4 catches, 50 yards, but I'm not playing that game. I don't really like. I'm not in love with Cephas, and they do have competent backups. Like if Case Keenum plays, he can get these guys the ball, and that's a little bit worrisome. But if we get confirmation he plays, maybe I'll just try to get exposure to that from Keenum and not try to play roulette with any of the receivers. So it's just those three for me: Hutchinson, Mechie, Janky. I will not play more than one in a lineup. Absolutely not. You have to have balls of steals to do it. I'm not going to play that way. So just those three for me. And we'll talk about tight end. I got a pass catcher for Houston I like.
Yeah, so I'm also looking at like Skowronek. I mean, that's so mid. I mean, Cephas, these guys are not even like long, down the field threats, right? These guys are more like over the middle, kind of maybe get your 5-10 yards at a time. Cephas especially he's a good PPR guy, but that doesn't really translate well in the preseason. So I'm with you. I think kind of sticking maybe to the top three, even Steven Sims, and even with the questionable tag too. I'm really curious to see if he plays. Noah
Brown. Is Johnny Johnson the Oregon guy?
John Jackson or Johnny Johnson?
Johnny Johnson.
Johnny Johnson. What is that? I gotta highlight.
He's the Oregon guy. I think I actually might have
he is the Oregon guy.
Okay, second half receiver for Texans. If you want to play one, mine would be Johnny Johnson.
Johnny Johnson, what an alpha name right there. So let's go ahead and move over to the Bears side of the ball. I'm with you on the Texans, though. I think, sticking with the main guys here. For the Bears, though, we got Velus Jones, we already talked about extensively. Colin Johnson, Texas legend. I think he's the guy, just a big body wide receiver. He's been around for a while. You kind of have to make a move in this sense. You got to move right now. DeAndre Carter, if you know him, you probably know him from his Charger days, and even with the Raiders last year. John Jackson, Freddie Swain, and then Dante Pettis. We don't really have Dante Pettis too rated high, but I mean, this is a guy. Was he a second-round pick a few years ago? Even he just kind of fizzled out.
I really hope he doesn't do good today. That guy tilts me. I don't really like him or Swain, but I saw Swain has a prop up too. Pettis might too, but I saw Swain's prop, so 16.5. So I'm going to probably have to try to just get the field on Swain.
Yeah, get the field on Swain. Any of these other Bears wide receivers?
The two guys I'm going to pair with Mr. Tyson. You don't have to pair him. You can play him solo too. But if you want to pair with Tyson, it's going to be Velus Jones, obviously, who we mentioned. And then Colin Johnson for like the red zone, 20-yard line, 20-yard touchdown, stuff like that. Goal line touchdown. And then behind them, I actually don't have much interest behind them. I can't be honest because I'm not trying to pair the backups anymore. Just the two guys right there with Mr. Tyson. You can talk me into Swain. Like I said, I'm going to try to match the field, but I'm not doing Pettis, even though I know his bomb would just nuke me into oblivion. So not much love for the Chicago pass catchers outside, like second half Chicago pass catchers. I don't have much love for whatsoever.
Yeah, just kind of pulling up underdog. Like the first thing you see, Freddie playing 22.5, yardage prop, right?
Yeah,
Colin Johnson, 23.5. Xavier Hutchinson, 26.5. There's not a whole lot that kind of just, separates these guys. And for example, the running backs, Felton is 54.5, which seems high. But it's probably more in line. If he got all the second half work, maybe he gets there, right? 54.5 rushing and receiving. Mechie 26.5, Pierce 34.5, Jawar Jordan 36.5. It just tells you running backs are going to be a premium compared to these wide receivers, and that's why wide receivers in large field tournaments make a lot more sense than single entry. Because good luck guessing which wide receiver is going to do well. If I had to guess, yeah, I mean obviously that's who projected the best, right? Xavier Hudson and Velus Jones. Wow, I'm so smart with that. But if I had to maybe dig a little bit deeper, I do like my guy Colin Johnson. You made a good mention on Swain. Just even having a prop up is always a good thing. I like your.
Well, I like Tyler Scott.
I told you. Where do you go to college?
Wait, why are we so low on Tyler Scott? Can we bump him a little bit? Can we bump him over fucking Cephas?
Wait, hold on.
Come on, Bruce.
Where do you go to college? Tyler Scott.
Oh God, not Minnesota. It was somewhere in the Big Ten, I think.
No.
Somewhere in the Big Ten. Tyler Scott. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, was it a red team?
Yeah, it was a red team.
See, that's how my mind works. I've been hitting the head too many times. Red team. Tyler. Oh no, not Maryland.
No, you're thinking a completely wrong direction. UC, Cincinnati.
Oh man, I knew I saw him in a red jersey.
Stumped you with Tyler Scott.
Oh my God! So yeah, if he can get there he was there with what's his name? Riddler. Yeah, Riddler stinks. I like Tyler Scott. He's been with the Bears for what, 2 years?
Yes, Tyler Scott's been with the Bears for now 2 seasons. Desmond Ritter was his quarterback, and they did make it to the CFP together. Tyler Scott, I like him. I'll definitely put him up for you, Kurt. I think we can definitely play Tyler Scott because he's a guy in the first half who's going to get run.
He's going to start, right? I'm pretty sure it's going to be Velus, Tyler Scott, and Johnson.
Look at this wide receiving room. You have who's not playing tonight? Odunze, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. There's competition for spots 4, 5, and 6. And
yeah,
I think Tyler Scott, I think he's safe, but he might not be. He might have to be playing for his ass here. And I think
can't believe Bruce is so low on him. I'm surprised.
Hey, it could be a playing time. Could definitely be a playing time thing. Let's see that with the note that Big T put. He put should get some good run. That's pretty solid. Pretty solid. I'm definitely interested in Tyler Scott. All right. I do think that first half, pair him up with even a guy like Bagent could be a move. If you want to play quarterback, play a first half combo. Maybe they combine for the touchdown early on. Glad you brought up Tyler Scott. That was ignorant of me not even to bring him up there.
What's the depth chart look like? Is there any of those three that could possibly leak into maybe like a second half drive? What's the depth chart look like? I don't have it memorized, surprisingly, after looking at it a day and a half. Sorry, guys. Oh,
we'll bring it up. We can talk about that one in Discord.
How about this?
Sign up. Code RPS15, 15% off your first payment here at Run Pierce Sports. Go ahead and join. We got preseason content up. We got Olympic content. We're going to even have a core for the WNBA, or not the WNBA, the women's national team basketball game today with $2K to first, $10K prize pool, and a lot of other fun to be had. Baseball's been absolutely crushing it. Golf just kicked off, a few hours ago for the Olympics as well. We'll have all the content up for you over the next month, and should be a good time. What were you going to say, Kurt?
I wasn't familiar with Ian Wheeler's game, so bum God, if you want to tell me who the hell Ian Wheeler is.
He was hurt.
Well, I know he's the hurt guy, but I don't know where he came from. Like I saw that he was hurt, and I was like, well, I don't need to look more into him.
Yeah, Bruce mentioned it to me, but basically he's the guy from Howard, the running back, and they're already in that thin room too. So for the Bears, so that's why Felton is getting so much buzz, is because Wheeler's hurt too.
Yeah, I know that Homer and Wheeler are hurt, but like I just didn't know. Like I said, the guy was. I assume he's not playing, so I didn't have to look into him. So Howard, man.
Can I get into your favorite time of the day?
Tight ends, baby. Hey.
Wrong. Where did Cade Stover go?
Oh, come on, dog. He went to Ohio State.
You had me in the first. I thought you.
Come on, man.
Yeah, he's a big-time game hunter.
Where did Brevin Jordan go?
What? We're breaking up. I can't hear you.
You down. Go Knowles, baby.
You down. I didn't know that. Did not know that.
I'm like 90% sure he went to Miami.
Yeah, Mercedes Lewis went to a college before we were born. So go ahead. Get into these tight ends here. No one wants to play tight ends, but you had a good case on Cade Stover, and I want people to hear this case on Cade Stover.
Okay, so look, tight ends are very, very, very bad plays historically. And then the reason is because when you want to protect your even like your second string guys, like you want to protect them, you don't want to get them killed. So you're always going to leave in the help. Like I said, offensive linemen are declining. No one wants to be it. So you leave in the tight end to either chip more or you just leave him in fully. So Stover wasn't like a pass catching tight end. So he definitely is going to be in line, helping with the blocking. but it's a playing time thing. And we know Houston likes to, they're getting a little bit creative, and it seems like they always have like these backup tight ends and stuff. Well, you can't play backup tight ends if you only really have like 1 or 2 active. So I'm praying to God it's not Teagan Quatoro. I hope it's Stover on a little delayed route, maybe a little delayed seam route. I mean, he's going to play with the starter. He's probably going to get a couple reps with the backups as well. And the backups aren't like some scrubs. If Keenum plays, Stover might get some snaps with Case Keenum, and Case Keenum will throw to tight ends too. So Cade Stover, maybe we see the rare tight end on the winner, possibly. It's what I'm kind of hoping for because I'm probably going to be over the field on him.
So a fun fact, if you looked at the past optimals the King Sheep posted, the tight ends, there was actually 2 of them optimal in 2018. There hasn't been one optimal since then.
That was a weird one.
You have a good point. Like Brevin Jordan shouldn't play much at all, and really that kind of leaves Cade Stover. He could be like one of the sole tight ends out there where you're just playing time at that point, and you're trying to bank like maybe a few catches, maybe a touchdown even. Cade Stover is a big body. I really liked his game at Ohio State. I genuinely thought highly of him. And what I think the Teagan Quitoriano, was it Quentin Tarantino or whatever? He scored a touchdown on a main showdown slate in the regular season.
Nice.
That feels like 2 years ago. It doesn't even feel like last year that happened. Anyway, if Cade Stover's getting all that run, Kurt, you can expect the Ohio State University to be represented pretty well in my lineup tonight. So it should be a fun time. Any interest in Carlson or Tommy Sweeney, Brendan Bates?
I'm actually curious why we have Carlson higher than Stover with them having a lot of tight ends. There has to be a reason. I'm sure Bruce knows. Bruce is really good at calling out these tight ends. I'm absolutely shouldn't have even questioned him on the other because Tyler Scott's probably going to bagel, but I'm definitely not going to question him on Carlson. And I think if Bruce says he's the highest projected tight end, I think you kind of want to, if you're entering multiple and large field stuff, or even just want to go for the home run ball, I'm not going to argue at Carlson season.
A fun note, and I think maybe it had to do with his performance last year and stuff. He had the most snaps last year of any tight end.
Oh, is that why? Oh,
yeah, that's probably.
Yeah, but that was last year. This is this year. What if their entire room? What if their entire room was hurt last year? Can we look into that more?
I don't think Mercedes Lewis is going to be challenging.
No. Yeah. But I mean, it could be. I don't see Sweeney playing in the second half either, honestly. So maybe it's just they just rotate 3 and then they just shut down Sweeney at half, and then
it becomes a Stephen Carlson.
Did Carlson go to Indiana? I want to say he went to Indiana.
That's a Cade Stover day. Or
whoa! No, oh my God!
I'll calm down. 4 points.
Whoa!
All right.
Go to receivers. What do you have receivers?
We saw the receiver that Bruce had. He had Velus Jones like 6. You see, he was slotting in right around where
I put Stover at 4-1.
4-1. Yeah, I put him right below, Johnson. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Let's do that. I don't need to bring up the kickers and defenses too much, right? I don't think we need – we're both interested.
Well, you had a good question. How do you like kicker captain?
I like it. I absolutely like it.
Yeah,
100%.
Definitely. I should like it more than I do. I wish I liked it more because it does make sense. I'm kind of surprised that there's not been more instances where we've only had one kicker be active and that not be optimal the past 3 years. But I think a lot to do with that has been kicking competitions in the Hall of Fame game. And maybe that's something I'll research as the day goes on because we have a lot of time. Go and see how many kickers were active in the past 3 Hall of Fame games and see what was the reason why, when there was only one kicker, why he wasn't optimal. But I think it could be, as always, a first. Definitely could be here.
Yes, and obviously it's luck at that point. I mean, we want to put ourselves in as good of a position as possible, but at the same time, you're hoping that they kick a 50-yarder, right? You're hoping that a 50-yarder and a field goal could absolutely be good enough. 9 fantasy points or something like that could actually be good enough in the cabin here to win it. Who is the best kicker out of the 2? I think it's Santos. No, it's Fairbairn. It's Fairbairn.
I don't like this question because I always get it wrong.
Yeah, but you just have to do it with confidence. Fairbairn's more accurate, I think. I think Cairo Santos is less accurate. And that's my reason. And I'm going to get proved wrong here because that might not be the case. Let's look at it.
I'll go Santos then.
All right. Oh, holy cow. Never mind. I take this back. Cairo Santos hit 92% of his field goals. Fairbairn. What a terrible name to spell.
Tammy Fairbairn.
Yeah, that name always gets me. Yeah, yep, he is the better kicker, 96%. I knew that. 96% of his field goal thing.
All right, and for all those reasons, it's Santos season.
It would make sense at that point. But yeah, both kickers absolutely viable to me. So I brought up a couple builds here, and I wanted to do this because I kind of wanted to go over this thought exercise, right? Like tonight, if you are running, multiple lineups, or if you're a Run Pure Sports member and you have SaberSim, they don't have the sims up today, but they do have the optimizer working. I would do a minimum 2 uniques. I think there's even a chance that I up this to 3 uniques because it's preseason. Like all I want is the kickers and defenses to be slightly overweight on them, and then I kind of want to just do a lottery at that point. And does that sound like a bit of maybe a guessing game? Yes, it is. Large field tournament. It's absolutely a guessing game in that sense. But in my single entry, I think you just kind of calm down. You play a quarterback, you play 2 running backs, maybe you play the special teams, and then I'm obviously not going to be playing both defenses as I stated, but I will be playing one other skilled position there. It could be a guy like Cade Stover. I think that's the path, and I might not even have a quarterback in my path if we get word that 3 are going to play on each side. Kurt, but do you think variance-wise, like you think it's a good idea just to spread stuff around as much as possible, right?
Yeah, so here's my question to you, and I'm definitely asking for the people and not asking for myself when I go to make lineups later. Let's say I don't want to say I'm doing large field. I kind of want to swing for the fences a little bit, but I don't want to say, okay, no 2 defense lineups.
Correct.
But in the lineups where I do want 2 defenses, how do I make it put a kind of off the wall captain? Like if I don't want Felton in my 2 defense lineups. I don't want Mills captain. I want kind of like a off the wall, I want like a Sin or not a Sin. I want like a Scott captain in those lineups. I want, like that, or I want like Jawar Jordan captain. How do I do that?
So you'd use an if rule. All right. Okay. If at least 1 primary player is used. So we're going to go ahead and do this where I'm actually going to zoom out just for this exercise just to help out. If I did that, right, if we had a kicker in the flex, right, if at least 2 defenses, right, you said if 2 are being used in the flex, then I want at least 1. And what we would do here, we would actually go to captain up here. All right. We would get out of this. And then who would you want a captain at that point? Give me a list.
Halfback. All those receivers are fine. I think that's going to be super rare. Felton, Jones. Well, no, not Felton. Take Felton out. That's going to be popular.
Yeah.
Bellison's fine, I think, enough. Jordan, Hutchinson, Michi, Scott. That second half guy for the Texans who will have pretty competent Janky. He's going to have competent backups. Is the only reason why I think he could honestly get peppered too, possibly. Keenum and Boyle, or at least veterans. And then, honestly, Roschon Johnson as well. I think Trop just mentioned. I think Roschon Johnson maybe first has like 3 catches the first drive, caps it off with a short touchdown, doesn't play the rest of the game. Like he's optimal, a captain. Right. So I think Roschon's fine there. And yeah, so that's exactly what I would want. If I'm playing both defenses, I still want to swing for the fences a bit, but I want to be open to playing both defenses on lineup.
So this is what you would do. You would have if at least 2 defenses are used in the flex, then use at least 1 secondary player. These secondary players are captains here.
Would you agree with that rule?
I think that's fine. I think that you could even add a kicker in where if at least 3 of the kicker defenses are used, where if you don't want to rule yourself out completely, and I think this is a very good question, where if you're playing 2 defenses and 2 kickers like everyone else, and you best be damned to have a unique captain or a unique player in that sense, where especially a captain, I think it would maybe work a captain even better because I think a lot of those guys that you're playing are going to be in the captain slot. I would even say that here's a number, over under 65%.
Are you lagging or am I lagging?
I'm lagging big time because Saber's trying to run. Over under 65% captain ownership from the defense and kickers tonight combined.
Here's the issue I have with playing 4 right now.
Yeah.
And that could change as we get more news. But if everything is how it is right now, with Mills prop being 96 yards passing, and with the injuries to the Chicago running backs, I just think Mills and Felton have such a good floor that you're definitely going to have ones. You're definitely going to have 1. I think you just have 2, but you're definitely going to have 1. So now you got 4 spots. You're taking up 1 with at least Felton or Mills. and then you're getting wild. So, but then like, what if like, I don't know. I kind of just want 3
So
in large field, only in large field. I'm not talking about single entry, but in large field, I only want 3.
So just for an example on this rule here, Kurt, you would have Jamar Jordan captain with these 2 in flex. I didn't do it with captain. If you had Bears defense captain with Texans defense and utility, we can go over that one in the Discord.
I thought you were talking about 2 defense and 2 kickers in the lineup as well.
Oh, I didn't do that. But yeah, we were talking about that. Yes, we were. Okay. But I just did that with the 2 defenses for the example. None of these actually have 4. I don't know if I made that rule already or not. But that's basically what you'd kind of be wanting, right? You'd have a very chalky build, and then you would have a unique captain up top.
I love that. I think that's – and the sad thing is like, what if it's one of the other scrub receivers score? I can't play that aggressive.
Yeah. Again, it's a large field.
You're taking a lot of zeros at captain.
I like Mills a lot. 96 yards passing is very impressive, for a preseason slate. Here's the thing that I would say, though. If he didn't throw for a touchdown, very good chance that he's not in the winner. And his touchdown prop, if there was one, would probably be 50-50 on, over 0.5 passing touchdowns. So using the word lock is tough. And I know you have good intentions and stuff like that, but I'm like, man, I don't know if I'd have more than 50% of any skill player really at all today. Outside the kickers and defenses. You in agreement there, Kurt?
If Keenum's ruled out, I'm okay with 65% Mills.
Oh, if Keenum's ruled out, yes, I'm with you. I would actually have a lot more. I'm operating as almost as if they'll have a 3-way timeshare at this moment.
Then because a quarter and a half, he could have. Yeah, he could have 70 yards. Hell, he could even throw a pick 70 yards, and they just have a good success running the ball a little bit. Spot fouls, he throws a deep ball, gets a spot foul. Oh, he don't get the yards for that. Dang. There's one drive that was successful, but he didn't get the yard for.
So the 3 uniques, this is just for the Texan side of the ball and flex and then captain. You can kind of have stuff like this where, you just kind of have a tight ownership, but at the same time, it's spread out a decent bit. No one really above that mark. Tyson Bagent, has a good projection right now, so he's going to hit a lot. But basically, that's kind of the dispersion that you're hoping for, where everyone's going to project very similar. You want to have unique teams. If you just did one unique tonight, you'd be lighting money on fire in that sense, unless you just nailed the nuts, which is very hard to do in preseason. Kurt, we got a minute left. I got to get your play of the day today. Your play of the day, and here's what I'm not going to let you say the kicker. I'm not going to let you say the defense. You know what? I don't even know why I'm saying that, because I know you would never say that. You would never say the kicker or defense here. So it can't be the defense or kicker. Who is Kurt's play of the day for the Hall of Fame game here in 2024?
Who was that Grizzlies coach who said, "Take that for data"?
Oh, Jenkins, right?
No, it wasn't Jenkins. The guy before Jenkins with the glasses.
Fizdale.
He said, "Take that for data." He was anti-analytical. That was his stance. Cade Stover, guys. I'm going anti-analytical. Everyone tells you don't to play tight ends in showdown and preseason. Don't care. Cade Stover play of the day. You don't want the captain, but Cade Stover play of the day. Large field GPP. Take that for data.
Take that for data. So David Fizdale was not on my bingo card today. David Fizdale mentioned. So we've already shocked me today. We have David Fizdale mentioned before our play of the day. My play of the day, I'm going with horns up, Roschon Johnson, the best running back in Chicago, and he's going to prove it tonight. I see a couple catches. I see a touchdown banged in from the goal line, and I see Khalil Herbert losing his job to the young second-year running back out of Texas. Again, thank you all for joining us. I hope you guys have a great rest of y'all's day. Good luck this season, and good luck. We have to see you again next week. Kurt, we're going to have another show next Thursday. Enjoy this small dose of football before we get into the real thing a month from now. Everyone have a great rest of your day, and bye-bye.